Hi there, it's Nicole here today with a birthday card featuring lots of new fun things from Simon Says Stamp for STAMPtember, plus the latest exclusive collaboration with Reverse Confetti. This is the Celebrate Your Day greeting stamp set, which is this awesome layering stamp set that you can customize with different smaller sentiments as well. I'm going to start by using some of the awesome new picture book dies, part of the STAMPtember release. This is kind of an add-on to some dies that that Simon Says Stamp came out with here a couple releases back that are in their picture book line, and I love these little animals. There are a bunch of them now, lots of great ways to use them. I die cut all of the components for the panda, bunny, and monkey from different colors of cardstock. And I'm using the Xyron sticker maker to attach these to a white top fold card base. The picture book animals themselves are going to be attached directly to the card base, and the layering component's going to be the greeting strip, which we'll get to here in a little bit. I'm using my stamps as a guide to know where I can put my animals so that I still have plenty of room for everything going on. The top little bit over half of the card is taken up with these cute animals and the birthday balloons they're holding. The balloons are from a die collection from Simon Says Stamp that has been out for a couple years now called Balloons, and it's these different balloon dies. I believe there's 5 in this die set, and it's one that I have used over and over again. It's a fantastic die set. And the smallest balloon from this works perfectly. I think it's scaled great for these critters. I have kind of a rainbow effect here, not all of the colors of the rainbow, but I wanted it to be really bright and colorful, very fun. And several of the balloons are going to be hanging off the top of the card, which helps ground the design a lot. It helps kind of makes everything not feel like it's just floating out there in outer space. I'm taking some very thin DMC metallic thread and wrapping it around my balloons, tying it in a little knot, and then pulling it tight down to the bottom edge of the card where I'm going to secure the ends with Post-it tape. You could use washi tape, whatever you want. It's going to be disguised. You're not actually going to see it, so it really doesn't matter what you use to secure it. Just use something so that those balloon strings stay really taut, and it's going to help with the design, I think, of the card quite a bit. Some of them are going to be in front of the animal, some kind of down behind. I want it to appear to look like they're kind of holding those balloons down at their side or whatever, the part of their body that's not being shown. And once I have that greeting strip in place, you're going to be able to visualize that maybe a little bit better. Now, I accidentally put the inside pieces for the bunny ears in the wrong ears, and luckily I caught it because I'm attaching it with glossy accents, which is not very forgiving if you have put something down and leave it there and realize it's wrong, but I figured it out right away, so I popped them out and switched ears, and I'm layering all these pieces. All of the cardstock I used is from either Lawn Fawn or Simon Says Stamp. Just grabbed scraps of paper, die cut all the little elements. I like to lay them out on my work surface. It really helps give control. So I know that I have all of the pieces, if that makes sense, especially with all of these teeny tiny little elements. The little noses, the little insides of the eyes or the ears, they're just so small. Finish up with just a couple more little elements here. All of my balloon strings are tied down nice and tight. And I'm using a quick stick tool, a piercing tool, anything I can to keep my fingers out of the glue and out of the adhesive. I've just got the ears left for the panda now, and everything will be, you'll see the cute little scene. It's really taking shape. This is kind of along the lines of one of my favorite things to do lately, which is to create a card completely out of die cuts. There are so many amazing ones anymore that you can really create all kinds of fantastic designs. Now, the greeting is definitely a showstopper. This is a fantastic greeting set. This is called Celebrate Your Day. For all kinds of different celebrations, this would be amazing. And there's this diagonal stripe design. I'm going to line that up on my cardstock here. I'm using my MISTI to get it lined up perfectly. I want to make sure it's nice and straight. But then I'm going to take Post-it tape strips and tape that down in place so that I'm masking off one strip at a time. And this is so I can create a multiple colored greeting. And then I guess the greeting itself is going to be black, but the stripes back behind it are going to be all in color. And for solid images like this, I very much prefer a pigment ink. And the new Distress Oxides have pigment ink in them, and they're fantastic for this. I started with some picked raspberry. You can reuse your Post-it tape 2, 3, maybe even 4 times, depending on how much ink you get on there. But you want to ink up the stripe after you've masked it off, remove the masking paper, and then go ahead and stamp the stripe. So next I've got my spiced marmalade strip. So super cute. And I had originally cleaned off that first strip and I realized that that was kind of a waste of time. So I'm just going to mask over it. Because it's going to line up perfectly every time, I don't have to worry about the ink, transferring or anything like that. Again, I've inked up the next stripe with fossilized amber. I remove the masking tape and press that in place. You want to make sure that your paper is in one of the corners of your MISTI. It doesn't matter which one, but it really helps because if it's in the exact same place every time, you do not have to worry about your image maybe not stamping properly. Peacock feathers is next. I tried to pick Distress Oxide inks that matched the cardstock colors I used for the balloons. And this is the color combination I came up with. Wilted Violet's going to be next. Again, Post-it tape, masking off areas. Now this time, because I'm doing a purple at the end, but also I'm doing a repeating pattern, I can ink up 2 of the strips at the same time by masking them off and stamp those right there in place. So you can see I've got both of the Wilted Violet stripes, and the one didn't stamp very good. I didn't get it inked very well. All I have to do, because I am using the MISTI, is go back, mask this off, and ink it up, stamp it again. And that looks so much better. But I'm really making sure that my paper is in that upper corner every single time. It's very critical. This is one of those projects that really needs to be done with some sort of a stamp positioner tool, because it makes it so much easier. It takes the guesswork out of it, and it's really quick. Just grab that Post-it tape, mask it off, ink it up, press it down, mask off the next one and the next one. Once I quit cleaning my stamp every single time, it went much faster. So I'll reuse the Post-it tape until it gets too saturated. Once that happens, ink can go through it. So I like to pitch it and just start over with more. Post-it tape is one of those very useful tools. I use it for holding dies in place, masking, all kinds of things. It's just fantastic. Washi tape or another low-tack tape would work perfectly fine for this as well. So I'll finish up with the last tiny 2 little pieces. I think I just have a tiny little peacock feathers corner down here in the bottom right corner. And there are my stripes, and you can see that it has the little cutout spot, perfect for the word celebrate, which you could stamp in any color. I decided to go with black, and I'm sorry, I had to lean over my desk to get it lined up perfectly, just because I didn't want it to be skewed at all. And I'm going to use the MISTI again and stamp both the word celebrate and it's your birthday at the very same time. You could also use hooray for you, happily ever after, this calls for cake, way to go, or it's your day. Lots of different celebrations that this stamp set would be perfect for. I did stamp that twice, trimmed it into a thin strip, and I'm going to mat it on a piece of black cardstock to help kind of frame up the strip a little bit. So I'll go ahead and trim that right now. Want to see how wide my greeting strip is, and then trim that so it has about 1/8 of an inch showing on each side. Once I have that trimmed down, I'll go ahead and adhere this to the black cardstock strip, trim that down, and then I can attach it to my card base to finish the design. I think framing it up with the black cardstock helps that colorful greeting really pop. Now you can attach it directly to the card base. I'm going to use a little foam adhesive and make it dimensional. About 3 strips here will work great. And this will also disguise all of that little post-it tape, the ends of the balloon ends there, mess along the bottom of the card. Won't ever be visible. You'll never know the recipient will never know it's there. Now, if there's any little areas where the glossy accents has completely dried now, I'm just taking this mono eraser and erasing it. It helps kind of lift it up and then just kind of cleaning off the surface of the card. And I did that before I attached this. I didn't want any of the eraser shavings to attach to the adhesive. I'm going to go over the eyes and noses on my critters with a little glossy accents. And there was a little piece there sticking up that I trimmed off with my scissors. And that's going to make the eyes and the noses really pop on these adorable, cute little picture book critters. Thanks for joining me today for this birthday themed card featuring the brand new STAMPtember Reverse Confetti Celebrate Your Day stamp set, as well as the picture book dies from Simon Says Stamp. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Simon Says stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.